Hello and greetings from Malawi. I'm standing here at the Hora 1 site, which as you can see is a rock shelter site. This site was excavated in 1950 by J. Desmond Clark, sometimes known as the father of African archaeology, also my advisor's advisor. So just to introduce myself, my name is Jessica Thompson. I'm an assistant professor at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. I first started working in African archaeology in 2002, so I guess that means I've been doing it for 15 years now. In 2004 and 2005, I was actually a member of Serengeti Genesis. We were working on the Loyangalani site in the Serengeti Plain in Tanzania. It was an incredible experience. And because it happened right at the beginning of my graduate career, it was really foundational in helping to get me going with respect to both understanding the archaeology of this region and also in terms of just knowing the practical skills, i.e. the things that can sometimes not go as planned when you're excavating and running archaeological projects in this part of the world. So I might say that in fact that experience was fundamental to me being able to do what I'm doing today, which is running several excavation projects, mainly in Malawi. So in 2009 I did start working in northern Malawi, which I'm pointing to here. Northern Malawi is full of Middle Stone Age archaeology, which was fascinating, but we were lacking bones, right? We had mostly preserved artifacts, stone tools. Here at these rock shelter sites, we're dealing with younger deposits. We don't know how old this site actually is. Like I said, it was excavated in 1950. There were 2 human skeletons that were excavated right behind where you see them excavating now. And in fact, as we open new excavations now, we found another one. So we now have a 3rd human burial. This one is actually cremated. So at the moment, what my team is doing is they're taking the level down, 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 so that they can expose that feature and we can document it. It'll be the first documented and mapped human burial in Malawi that has been done using this technological equipment that you see happening behind me. Again, this was equipment that I learned to use partially when I was part of the Serengeti Genesis project in the Loyangalani Valley. What I'm holding here is a number of things that we also bring out as part of our community outreach efforts. We don't like to just try to come in, sweep across and work in isolation from the community. So you can see there are several members of the community here around Hora Mountain, and they're excavating as part of our team. And we all have these t-shirts which have our logo on them, and they say MALAP, which stands for the Malawi Ancient Lifeways and Peoples Project. We also have these flyers which we've been distributing to people everywhere in this region so that they can have an understanding of what it is we're doing and why we're doing it. So we have an English version, and then we also have a Chitumbuka version, which is the local language in this part of Malawi. And of course we also have pens. People always need a good pen around here with our logo on it. So this is kind of what I've established over the last several years since starting here in Malawi in 2009. I did want to introduce myself and talk about the role of Serengeti Genesis in this. And please feel free to contact me. You can find me pretty easily on my website from Emory University if you have any questions about this research or anything else that we might be doing here. Thank you very much.
In August of 2013, I got an email inviting me to film the first opera ever to be staged in the Kingdom of Bhutan. Bhutan is a small, mysterious, landlocked country in South Asia, nestled in the Himalayas between India and China. The government had been looking for ways of carefully opening Bhutan to Western culture, but in a way that respected its own traditions, and that's how this project was born. The opera was George Friedrich Handel's Acis and Galatea, but the plan was to incorporate Bhutanese song, dance, instrumentation, and visual arts. I was invited thanks to an extreme form of nepotism. You see, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was Handel's patron when he came to Italy in the early 1700s. The organizers of the project thought it would be fun to reunite Handel and the Ruspoli family after 300 years in the Himalayas. The project reminded me a bit of Werner Herzog's film, Fitzcarraldo, in which this mad rubber baron, played by Klaus Kinski, becomes obsessed with bringing opera to the jungles of South America. The opportunity was too much to resist, so I took the 3-day journey from Los Angeles to Bhutan, and this is what I saw there.
It's a pioneering project of bringing opera to Bhutan for the very first time.
The mad idea was to combine Acis and Galatea by Handel with the Bhutanese culture.
Steph thought, why don't I set this 400-year-old Handel opera in 1914 in Bhutan as a visiting party? And so the concept brings Westerners into the Bhutanese culture in a very naive and in a very new context.
When we suggested this title to our Bhutanese friends, is a plot that speaks of love, jealousy, death, and transformation, it sounded very familiar to them. That was quite extraordinary, because these two cultures, Western cultures of Handel, of Western theater, with this other extremely deep and profound culture, seems to be very, very distant. Instead, we find so many contacts, so many links together.
The opera we chose is Handel's Acis and Galatea, the story about the ultimate triumph of compassion over anger, ignorance, and greed, which here in Bhutan are the 3 poisons that are the cause of all suffering.
It was wonderful. It was just out of this world. Everybody enjoyed it. And the mixture between the Bhutanese and the Western culture was so well done.
So I ran the Bhutan Marathon. I really enjoyed it. It was such beautiful scenery, so many fun people. The volunteers were absolutely amazing in keeping us going. And yeah, it was just an incredible experience to come and run in a country with such beautiful people.
Absolutely fell in love with the country and the kind of the idea of this magical land in the Himalayas, and I've wanted to go for 20 years. It's literally my #1 on the bucket list. So when I found out the Sister Marathon Peace Initiative was running a marathon here, it was a no-brainer. Did it in a heartbeat.
So I would say we had pretty high expectations coming into Bhutan, and I would say they've been exceeded at every step of the way. The people, the food, the experience, the marathon. I would come back here in a heartbeat and do this again.